Emma Caldwell stepped through the towering glass doors of Summit National Bank, but instead of a warm welcome, she was met with scrutinizing stares. The bank employees, dressed in sleek professional attire, cast quick glances her way, not with the deference given to an esteemed client, but with a cold, assessing suspicion, as if she had wandered into a place where she did not belong. Inside the grand lobby, wealthy businessmen were greeted with broad smiles and swiftly ushered into private meeting rooms. But when Emma approached the reception desk, the receptionist didn't even bother to look up. Her voice was detached and different. "How can I help you?" Emma remained composed. "I need to meet with a financial advisor regarding my account. There's an important transaction that's been delayed." The woman at the desk raised an eyebrow, her gaze flicking over Emma from head to toe, evaluating her as though determining whether she was truly capable of handling such a significant transaction. Then, in a clipped tone, she responded, "Do you have an appointment?" "No, but this is urgent." Her answer did not inspire any sense of urgency. Instead, the receptionist merely gestured to a far-off corner, an isolated waiting area, separate from the elegant private rooms reserved for priority clients. Emma took a seat, her posture calm, but she was acutely aware of the whispered conversations taking place among the bank employees. A middle-aged man chuckled and shook his head. Did she walk into the wrong branch? She probably thinks this is one of those small-owned places. Another employee sneered. She doesn't look like she belongs here. Their words hit Emma like a slap in the face. What they didn't know was that she was the largest shareholder of Summit National Bank. And in just a few days, everything about their system was about to change forever. The turning point. Imagine this. You walk into an institution you own, only to be treated like an outsider. What would you do? Accept it? Or stand up and change everything? The story that unfolds will leave you speechless. Stay with me, because what happens next is a lesson in power, justice, and transformation. Chicago's crisp November morning carried the bite of late autumn. The streets buzzed with hurried conversations, honking cars, and the scent of roasted coffee drifting from nearby cafes. The golden sunlight reflected off the city's towering skyscrapers, a juxtaposition of modern elegance and historic grandeur. Emma stepped further into the bank's gleaming marble lobby. The crystal chandeliers cast dazzling reflections on the polished floors, and everything about the space exuded power. Yet, from the moment she entered, she felt an invisible wall rise between her and the rest of the room. Conversations hushed slightly. A few glances flickered toward her before quickly looking away. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, but unmistakable. To her left, a well-dressed bank employee was speaking with an older white gentleman, his body language exuding deference, his voice warm and friendly. Farther ahead, another employee quickly approached an elegantly dressed woman with a welcoming smile, guiding her into a VIP consultation room without hesitation. But when Emma reached the reception desk, that same warmth was nowhere to be found. The receptionist, a young blonde woman with precisely applied makeup, flicked a glance at Emma before returning her attention to her computer screen. "No polite. How can I help you?" "No, what can I mean this might?" "Nothing." Emma was far too accustomed to this treatment. "What do you need?" the woman finally asked, her voice devoid of warmth. "I need to meet with a financial advisor regarding my account. There's an important transaction that's been delayed." The receptionist finally looked at her, this time more closely. A flicker of doubt passed over her face, followed by something colder, dismissal. "Do you have an appointment?" she asked, her tone bordering on impatience. "No, but this is urgent." A pause. The receptionist's fingers glided lazily over her keyboard. She didn't seem the least bit hurried. Finally, she tilted her chin toward a set of chairs near the entrance. "Please wait there. I'll check if anyone is available." Emma almost laughed. Check if anyone is available? She had just watched a man stroll in after her and be immediately escorted to a private room. No appointment necessary. But she didn't argue. She merely nodded and moved to take a seat. Not because she accepted this treatment, but because she wanted to see just how far they would go before they realized their mistake. 15 minutes passed, then 30. Emma observed every movement in the bank like a chess player studying the board, fully aware that the final move would be hers. A middle-aged man in a gray suit entered. The moment he stepped inside, even before he could state his request, a bank employee greeted him with a bright smile. "Mr. Whitman, we've prepared a private room for you. Please follow me. No waiting. No delays. Immediate, attentive service." Emma exhaled slowly, mentally recording every detail. She was not surprised, but that didn't stop the quiet fury simmering inside her. 40 minutes passed before a young employee finally approached her. He was tall, slender, with neatly combed brown hair and a sea-blue tie that still looked relatively new. His professional smile was careful, but there was hesitation in his eyes. "Ms. Caldwell," he began, clearing his throat. "I apologize for the delay. I assure you, our verification process is standard for all large transactions." Emma tilted her head slightly. "Is that so?" she asked, her voice soft but firm. "I just watched a man walk in after me and be immediately escorted to a VIP room. No one asked him to wait. Did he go through the verification process?" The young man hesitated. He opened his mouth, then closed it again. His eyes flickered, searching for an answer. Emma continued, her tone even. "Or perhaps I should phrase it differently. If I looked like him, would I have been asked to sit here for 40 minutes? The silence that followed was damning. Greg, the employee, swallowed. "Ms. Caldwell, I truly apologize if you feel uncomfortable. I'll resolve this matter immediately." Emma's expression didn't change. "Good. And while you do that, I'd like to speak with the branch manager." Greg hesitated. The manager is currently in a meeting." Emma nodded, as if she had already anticipated this excuse. "Then tell him I'll wait, and tell him this meeting directly concerns the owner of this bank." Greg blinked. "The owner?" Emma's lips curled into a thin smile. "You'll find out soon enough." The reckoning. 1 week later, at exactly 10 a.m., an emergency meeting was held on the top floor of Summit National Bank. The conference room, with its sweeping view of downtown Chicago, was filled with tense executives flipping through documents, checking their phones, waiting for answers. No one knew the real reason for the meeting. They had simply received a summons from Emma Caldwell, a woman they had always known as a major investor but had never realized was the major shareholder. Emma entered with a powerful stride, dressed in a sharp black suit, her hair tied back, her expression unreadable. Every eye turned to her as she pulled out the chair at the head of the table, the seat of the highest authority. She leaned forward, her voice steady, slicing through the tension like a blade. "I have reviewed this bank's operations, and what I have witnessed is unacceptable. The system was about to change, and this time, no one would be able to stop her.